I am Ashley Kirby, and this is my presentation of the digestive system. The digestive system begins when food enters the mouth. Our teeth and our saliva mix the food up, and that's called mechanically digesting. Once food is swallowed, it moves down the esophagus. The esophagus has wave-like motions that move the food along. The esophagus is tubular and collapsible. It has a muscular wall that propels the food down to the stomach. It also has mucus glands scattered throughout that help moisten and lubricate the inner lining of the tube for movement. At the end of the esophagus, we have the cardiac sphincter. The cardiac sphincter is made up of muscle fibers that contract to close the entrance to the stomach, and also those muscles can relax long enough to let food in. Once food has entered the stomach, it moves around. It mixes with gastric juices, and then the stomach will initiate the digestion. The cardia is right under the cardiac sphincter. It is a small area near the opening of the esophagus. Up towards the top of the stomach is the fundus. It's a temporary storage area. From the fundus, the main part of the stomach is called the body. The body moves through the pylorus area, which brings us to the pyloric canal. At the end of the pyloric canal, there are fibers in the muscular wall that thicken, and they form a powerful muscle called the pyloric sphincter. This muscle acts as a valve that controls gastric emptying. From there, the pyloric sphincter goes into the small intestine. The small intestine is just a tubular organ that extends from that sphincter to the beginning of the large intestine down here. We have three portions. The smallest, shortest, most fixed portion is the duodenum, and then we go to the jejunum and the ileum. These parts are mobile and they lie free in the cavity. The large intestine the beginning of the large intestine has a pouch-like area called the cecum. Downward from the cecum, we have an organ called the appendix. Now, the appendix doesn't really have a known digestive function. The large intestine absorbs ingested water, electrolytes. It can resorb and recycle water and remnants of digestive secretions. Also, the large intestine forms and stores feces. From the cecum, we have the ascending colon. It moves upward and to the left into the transverse colon. The transverse colon is the longest and most movable part. From the transverse colon, we have the descending colon. The descending colon comes down and makes an S curve to our sigmoid colon, and that sigmoid colon then goes to the rectum. The rectum curves into the anal canal down here. At the distal end of the anal canal, there's an opening to the outside of the anus. The anus functions to move waste out of the body, uses two muscles, the internal anal sphincter, which is involuntary, and the external anal sphincter, which is a voluntary muscle. Some other organs associated with the digestive system are the pancreas, which is in between the stomach and the large intestine. The pancreas mainly works with the small intestine. It uses the pancreatic duct to transport pancreatic juice to the small intestine, where it digests carbohydrates, fats, proteins, nucleic acids. This little green organ here is the gallbladder. The gallbladder stores bile between meals, concentrates bile by reabsorbing water, and contracts to release bile to the duodenum here, all through the duct system. Lastly, the liver, our largest internal organ. It has many functions, such as blood filtering, detoxification, oxidizing fatty acids, storing glycogen, iron, vitamins A, D, B12. Also helps with maintaining blood glucose levels. But for digestion, the main function is to secrete bile, and that is the digestive system.